We are live and only 6 minutes late because we were talking. Sorry.
Rent, am I right? Rent is rent is too damn high.
Economy.
Politics. Woo woo.
We
All
didn't even
right.
have to bring politics into it, just rent's too damn high. I don't care what side you're on.
It's fair. So let's see. Do we start with what happened last week?
I don't want to gloat, so I'll let y'all decide on who goes first. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. So
Go ahead.
Shelby, do you want to go? Well, do you want? I think Shelby should get the
Talk about how
sadness out
A&M
first.
ruined overtime.
Yeah, I want to get Shelby's sadness out first, and then we can go on to more positive things.
Okay, so the fact is that I may be wrong, but my memory serves me correctly. We have not played an overtime game since 7 overtimes. So we have not had to deal with the new overtime rules, and now I know why everyone hates them.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, you guys ruined it, and then you didn't have to deal with it for 6 years, and then now you realize, oh wow, this actually sucks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thanks, Kelmond.
Also, the fact that A&M has not gotten a holding penalty called on the other offensive line for our defense since Bowling Green is a problem. That was week 3. Week 4. I'm not one to be like, oh my God, it's the ref's fault. And I'm not saying it is, but that is a questionable stat. Like, there's no way that there was never a holding call to be called. That's just not possible. Was that why we lost to Auburn? No. We lost to Auburn because our offense was not doing what it was supposed to do consistently. But here we are. We are still, if you would have told me going into the season that the Texas game would decide if we could go to the SEC championship, I'd be happy.
For sure.
Especially in year 1 under Elko, I'd be like, yep, cool. Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Don't care what else happened. Sounds good.
Yeah.
But that's my soapbox. So we'll talk about Texas in a minute, or in a couple minutes. Go ahead, Ethan.
So, in more in more exciting news, I mean, did y'all get the chance to watch the game? I don't know what time your games came on.
I watched some of it, and then Emily decided we were shadow dancing, so I didn't get to finish.
Yeah, I was like in and out.
You were at the Arkansas game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always so hard to follow like what actually goes on throughout the sports world when you're actually at the games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the offense, defense, I mean, DJ Lagway is the future #1 overall pick in 2027. I mean, I know I've kind of spammed the group chat a little bit with some fun tweets, but there were at least 2 plays just off the top of my head that he made just from being like a special quarterback. Like when you watch Johnny Manziel, or when you watch Ryan Mallett or Matt Jones or whoever you want to point to for Arkansas. No offense, I can't really think of any great quarterbacks off the top of my head. But you look at it and you're like, this player made a great individual play, and that is why this worked. And there were like 2 times in the first half to where they had him in a bad spot, almost sacked, and he just steps up, and at like one point, like Walter Nolan is basically like has his hand on him, and he kind of like just ducks it down and sort of shot puts the ball out to the receiver for like a 20-yard gain. And you watch it and you're like, okay, there's only so many guys that can actually do that. Like when you see those kinds of things happen, that's when you're like, okay, this kid is going to be the guy. So I personally, and again, I know considering my current Facebook name, this might be a bit surprising, but I am a fervent Billy Napier supporter. The Tennessee game was a bit okay. Hold on, no. Now I'm no Chucky Napier. Okay, I'm a bit more realistic than Chucky Napier was, but I was on the Billy Napier train all the way through the Tennessee game. I can assure you of the Florida fan base, that puts me in like the 99th percentile of people who were still on board with Billy Napier after the first 2.25 seasons. So when I jumped off at that point. However, the number one name that everybody wanted was Lane Kiffin. And to watch him come into the swamp and go for it on 4th down like 5 different times with his stupid defensive tackle, wildcat play. At one point, he
I
had
hate that
Jackson,
play.
like he had Jackson Dart as a lead blocker, right? Like I don't know if y'all have seen this play, but you go back and watch some of these attempts.
Yes.
Jackson Dart is the lead blocker, and we have like a safety nickelback like right there crashing down with a linebacker. And Jackson Dart absolutely makes a business decision. Like he absolutely decides, you know what? I am not taking on this linebacker or this safety head on, and I'm just going to try and get in the way. And so the defender basically is like surprised and just goes right for the ball carrier, and then he just like gets submarined and doesn't convert. So they tried that like 3 or 4 times. Like I saw a stat that they rushed the ball like 14 times, and of those, I want to say 6 were by a defensive tackle, 6 were by a quarterback, and 2 were by a running back. And so it was like they just never ran the ball for whatever reason. They normally have a very good running game, never ran the ball. Jackson Dart was mostly pretty good, but this is probably the biggest win of the Billy Napier era. And I will tell you both, y'all, I am terrified right now because it would be completely on brand for Billy Napier to build all this goodwill, win these 2 ranked games in a row, flip all these recruits, make all this noise, and then proceed to go to Tallahassee and fuck it up. And if we manage to, which we should, FSU is pretty terrible. But if we do that, y'all, it's gonna be. I'm gonna be talking so much shit for a 7-5 team.
Like, look, let me tell you why I'm better than you.
You see the picture. This is why the 2025 Florida Gators have a chance to be very special. I'm not normally there's always next year person. I'm normally, as a Florida fan, I know I'm a bit spoiled. I'm an every year fan. And when we don't have those years, which we haven't been close in a while, it's not satisfactory. Like you were talking about going to the SEC championship game in year 1. That's awesome, but you're still going to be 9-3 at best, like possibly even 8-4. And it's like, then you look back on those seasons and you look at the Auburn game and you look at some of those games and you're like, man, if we just didn't fuck this up, this season could have been really special. But instead, throughout the year, there were 2 or 3 boneheaded moments that cost you a game or two. And then you're just like, damn, So, I feel like that's the thing.
Year.
Yeah. Poor Arkansas fans. There's always something with Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. You're drinking the Kool-Aid though. I like it.
Yeah. I'm the Kool-Aid man at this point. Like, I am just. I am bursting through your walls and oh yeah.
Blue or orange Kool-Aid? Which one?
What kind of blue? I don't like the electric blue, but there's like a
Florida Gator blue.
There's like a shark fruit Kool-Aid. I know this is crazy. A shark fruit Kool-Aid. Look it up. It's good. It makes no sense. It's clearly some sort of synthetic Did y'all watch Breaking Bad?
No.
Okay, you're not going to get this reference, but I'm going to say it anyways. So there's a scene in Breaking Bad to where this German food manufacturer is like testing out their dipping sauces. And the scientist is all like, oh, we call it French. It's a combination of French and ranch. And the guy just looks at him and just like throws it on the floor. And every time I eat some bullshit, artificial, like clearly synthetic, man-made, chemically goodness, I think of that and I'm just like, God, this is French. This is it right here.
This is French.
That's lovely.
But yeah, of those 2, I would go orange. I'm actually more of a red Kool-Aid kind of guy. I like a classic. Give me the fruit punch.
It's red.
Red, yeah.
I like orange Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty open to all the Kool-Aids, honestly.
I like the red too, though.
Yeah.
At my house, my parents always combined lemonade and then another flavor.
Yeah.
So it was like tropical punch lemonade or whatever. And I was like, okay, sure. So that's what I'm used to.
There's nothing wrong with that either, yeah.
I just make one pack and I'm like, but we use what? You
Yeah.
do what?
It's like when you ask somebody what their dog is, and they're just like, I don't know. And you're like, okay, yeah. What is this? It's Kool-Aid. What kind? All of them. You just go with it, man. It's Kool-Aid. They all taste. Yeah, it's Kool-Aid.
Drink it.
Yeah, you're not gonna complain. Just drink it.
Let's see. I'm trying to look for anything that was exciting that happened. Kentucky all down.
I mean, Bama losing. Bama getting dominated, really.
I'm getting there. I'm going down the list of games that happened in like time order. So yeah, Kentucky let us all down. Let's see. And then yeah, Alabama losing was something. Thank you, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma literally dominated that entire game. Alabama had no life.
The best part is my instructional coach's son is a huge OU fan. And they went to the game, and he told me before they left on Friday, he said, Miss War, I'm going to the OU game, and we're going to get killed. And I said, okay, have fun. He said, I will. And I was like, okay. And I hope to God he had fun.
The environment looked pretty rocking before the game. Like, whenever they showed everything, it looked like a really good environment. So they had the momentum.
The Sooners.
Boomer.
And then, so the fact, okay, this is my favorite thing. Besides the fact that A&M lost, and this is what made me happy, is that LSU fans want to fire their coach, but they don't have the money to do it. And I'm like, well, it must suck being poor.
I mean, I feel like A&M, you guys definitely have that oil money, but I feel like what you guys did with Jimbo is basically the last of a dying breed, to where I feel like previously teams were pretty quick to pull the trigger on coaches, even after 1 or 2 seasons. And I feel like now we've gotten to the point to where transfer portal, NIL, building a team all around, it's quicker than it's ever been, but also in a lot of ways it's harder because you're basically recruiting against the best teams in the country in both. And so it's like, yeah, you have guys leave those schools and go places, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like teams are across the country, even like Auburn, like Auburn and Hugh Freeze, like they were real quick to get rid of Harsin, but Hugh Freeze, pretty similar record, and they're pretty content with him. And the difference is that they're buying, they got a Yellowwood money, and you buy a few 5 stars, and you have hope for the future, and maybe you get a few key players in the portal, and then you move forward. But I feel like the Jimbo buyout, the buyouts are way too big now that schools are going to be hesitant to pay it out. Like Billy Napier's buyout would have been the second biggest ever after Jimbo, and his buyout was like 26 or 27 million. And Jimbo's was 75. And so there's, everybody else is still in that Billy Napier range. But I think teams are just saying, okay, well, I'd rather go and spend $10 million in NIL and give this guy a shot to win versus just throwing it, pissing that money away.
Yeah. And when revenue sharing becomes a thing, like that's
exactly.
You're balancing, hey, I don't have the money to throw $10 million to get a coach out of here when I also have to pay this money to players across the entire university.
Yep. And
they're going to have to like weasel contracts better.
I think that what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to unionize. I think that if we go to revenue sharing, I think that we will have to have some type of coaches and players union, because that's going to be the only way that, because essentially coaching contracts, they're monopolies. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 agents who can, the same guy is the agent for basically every SEC coach. And so he goes and he negotiates all of the contracts with every school for all of the coaches. And it's like, obviously he's going to manipulate them against each other and work for the biggest number. And that's how you get the $20-30 million buyouts for coaches who definitely don't deserve that, you know? But I mean, do we see any coach get fired in the SEC this year?
No, and I think the one that should is, well, I would say, what's his face, Hugh Freeze, but I don't
No,
think
they beat A&M, so now they're fine.
especially not now. But I still don't think Auburn fans are happy. And LSU fans just, they have lost more than 2 games this year, and they lost the number 1 recruit in the country, or the number 1 quarterback in the country, and they just like are miserable right now.
See, my thing is, sometimes it seems that beating A&M keeps coaches around, a la Les Miles. LSU was going to fire him so many times, and they're like, oh, we beat A&M, everything's fine.
Yeah, they paid Brian Kelly too much. They're not going to be able to get rid of him for a little bit.
And I was like, well.
And also, I don't necessarily think that they should. Like,
yeah,
when you look at their schedule, they've lost 2 games at Tiger Stadium in the last 20. Like, he's losing 2 or 3 games a year is not
fireable.
Yeah.
I feel like people need to
bring yourself down. Join us. Hello.
Yeah, like what's really odd to me is a lot of the discourse I see is fans and people saying like, oh, well, they're being paid now, so they're professional athletes, so they should act like it. That's how they should behave. Well, if that's your mentality, then we should start viewing the college game more akin to the NFL, to where your goal is to win your division and make the playoffs, and then from the playoffs, make it to the Super Bowl. And I mean, I understand in college football, you have conference championships that in a lot of ways are equally important. Yeah. I mean, I would rather have a national championship than an SEC championship, but everybody always says that's the goal. But that's the thing. A coach losing 3 games in an NFL season, they're coach of the year.
Yeah.
Like you lose in college, I think 2 games and you're still in playoff contention, especially if it's to 2 ranked teams. And you do that every year. I mean, I know that this is sort of antithetical to what a lot of college I've seen a lot of people say like they love the fact that the regular season matters so much in college football. And it's like, I love that aspect too. But if you go and look at the history of college football, you look at how much of the regular season, especially in the first half of the century, were completely wasted bullshit games where you have Michigan playing high schools and, Iowa playing an aircraft school in places to where these games count in the official handbook and these national championships they earn count. And then up until the 90s, there was no head-to-head determination for the national champion. And so it's like you're saying the regular season matters so much to you, but for 75% of the history of college football, there was no postseason, and it was often so fucked up. Like you go and look at some of the old national champions from like the 60s up to the 80s, and you have instances to where a team loses to, like FSU in 93, for example, they lost to Notre Dame in the regular season, but then finished ranked higher than them because of the bowl game and won a national championship, while Notre Dame was 11-1 with the same record with them beating FSU head to head, and then they were second. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like making the playoffs is a good enough goal. And if you have a coach that loses 1 to 3 games a year, you're always going to be in contention. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I think it's better just to put the money towards NIL and just, as long as the coach isn't completely inept,
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. And I could see firing coaches for 6 loss seasons, losing seasons consistently, but I can't see anybody in the SEC right now that needs to be fired. Besides Hugh Freeze, but that's different. That's because I don't like him.
That's different.
That's different because I don't like him as a human.
Yeah.
I mean, Kentucky is 4-7. At what point does Mark Stoops' job start to come into question?
I don't know if that man's job ever.
Fighting Texas
He's going to go away.
Fighting Texas Aggie legend Mark Stoops. Was it
Part-time A&M head coach.
3 days ago was the anniversary of the day and a half that Mark Stoops was A&M's head coach? Yeah, fun times.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so this is going to be the first year since 2015 that Kentucky misses a bowl game.
It's not bad.
And before that, they'd only been to one bowl in 2010. So, I mean, Kentucky's always been
Around.
Yeah, they've always been a 6-6 type team. So, I mean, your best seasons, he's a 9-win coach, and your worst seasons, he's a 5-win, 4 or 5-win coach. I don't know. He makes $10 million a year, though. He's like a top 10 highest paid coach in the country. So I'm assuming his buyout's probably pretty crazy, too.
Now I have to look. Let's see. Marks. Ooh, that's too many O's. Oh, the first thing that comes up is Mark Stoops, Texas A&M. No.
Nice.
No interest. Signed a brand new contract in 2022 to coach through 2031. He is paid $9 million a year, with the initial buyout being $4.5 million.
That's a long contract.
By $500,000 every year of his contract.
It's a 9-year contract.
For nothing. What have you done? Nothing.
I'm not sure anyone deserves a 9-year contract.
Can I?
So much can change in 9 years.
I don't know. I would love to be able to be fired from my job, but still be paid by them. Like, can I
just not work?
Like, can I please be told you're not good enough at your job that we're going to pay you to not do it?
And the best part is they get half of it. I mean, a lot of times they get half of it within the first 30 days, and then it's like yearly million and plus $1 million payments. So it's like, oh, you get fired, and then, oh, nice. Hey, Mitch. Happy Thanksgiving, buddy.
Mitch.
Sorry.
That's all good. We got to show our friends off. We have friends.
It's great. I have friends outside of these people. Sydney and Ethan are not my only friends.
What was I saying? Mitch distracted. My friend distracted me.
I don't know.
So does Arkansas not play this weekend?
We play Missouri.
They play on Saturday, don't they?
At Missouri. Usually it's on Friday. This is
okay. I see it. I was blinking because I was looking at the schedule.
All right. So should we start looking at games for next week?
Let's do it.
This week, I guess. All right. The Egg Bowl. Mississippi State. Give me Mississippi State. Why not?
They were 26-point spread. I took the points. I don't know if they win, but I think Ole Miss has a bunch. I think Ole Miss has a bunch of mercenaries who are probably going to check out a good bit after losing to us and being out of SEC and CFP contention, and probably really don't give two shits about this. I mean, how much does Juice Wells or Princely, Uman Allen care about the Walter Nolan? Like, how much do these guys actually care about beating Mississippi State?
The Egg Bowl.
They don't care. These guys they're not Ole Miss people, they're just 1-year people there until they go to the NFL. And so I think they're going to be checked out. I think Mississippi State can surprise here. I think they lose, but they definitely cover 26.
Is this at Ole Miss? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, in Oxford.
I don't think that makes much of a difference. Their stadium's like let's say a higher A Texas high school stadium.
Oh, Vaught Hemingway?
Yeah.
Yeah. Been there. It's not fun.
No.
Not that great.
No.
They weren't that loud, and it was a good game too, because I went when A&M played them. I think it was my junior year. I don't remember, junior or senior year, but it was a good game, and they didn't even seem like interested at all.
The Grove is extremely overrated.
Yeah. Not
good tailgating scene.
So I went there on a recruiting visit in high school and got to watch them play Arkansas.
Okay.
And yeah, I actually got to meet Ed Orgeron. He was the head coach at Ole Miss at the time. But they were playing Arkansas when Darren McFadden and Felix Jones were there. And they were terrible. Ole Miss was awful. and Arkansas dominated them like 49 to like 10 or something. The stadium was dead quiet, but at the same time, I really wasn't sure if it was because they were terrible or if that's just how it always. Because I mean, I'd been to a game at the Swamp, and I was like, oh yeah, let's go check this out. I mean, it was like half full, and the people who were there were just like going through it was way overrated. The Grove did suck. I don't know. Food wasn't that good.
That's how I felt about South Carolina. I hate to say it. Like I went to one game and like I've told you this before. Literally, like the people were like, "Oh, well, don't worry, we'll still lose."
Right.
I'm like, y'all have no faith in your team. But then they're like, "We have the best home field advantage," and you're like, "Where?"
Yeah.
Where?
It's because they play Sandstorm, not Sandstorm.
Yes, Sandstorm.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Virginia. I was thinking of Virginia Tech playing Inner Sandman.
Oh yeah.
Sandman, Sandstorm, yeah.
Sandstorm. All right. So before Mitch has to go, Georgia and Georgia Tech.
Dogs.
No, is Haynes King even playing? I don't even know.
A little clean old-fashioned hate here.
Unless he's hurt.
He's been hurt.
Oh, okay.
I feel like Ole Miss and Georgia would both be on upset alert if their games weren't at home. I feel like both of these games are going to be pretty close, but I think that they both win. But I think Georgia Tech's going to play them pretty tough. I think they're inspired. Also, the cheapest ticket for that game is $4,300 right now.
What?
For what?
I mean, according to ESPN, for the Georgia Tech Georgia game.
I don't believe that at all.
That's wild.
Let's see. Because
I'm on the schedule tab of ESPN where it has like the tickets column.
I was told by SeatGeek that the A&M Texas tickets are the most expensive ever seen. So,
I mean, I imagine it's not. I mean, I'm sure there are $4,300 tickets, but it's either sold out, and for whatever reason, the method that they're using to scrape the data. So this is Vivid Seats, so maybe that's what it is. But no, I mean they probably are sold out, and there's nothing available except for the super high dollar ones that haven't filled yet.
That makes sense. Yeah, because like the cheapest ticket to get into A&M and Texas is like $700.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally not anything else. So that the Texas A&M game's $536 on here, and then there's nothing else that's even over $250. So it really is an anomaly. I just thought it was crazy.
It was crazy.
Speaking of home field advantage, though, do we believe in the Fighting Clark Lees?
Yes.
Let's do it.
I'm in. I'm all in.
I'm with you.
I love it.
In Diego Pavia, we trust.
Kid said Johnny Manziel is his hero.
Mexico State East. That's funny. That's funny.
Beat the Bulls.
Blue Aggies, though. Go Lobos.
I was about to be really insulted, and then I realized you weren't talking about us. I was like, rude? What did I do to you? Except for beat your team, but so did everybody else.
Not those Aggies.
Different Aggies.
The other Aggies, the ones that A&M beat earlier a couple weeks ago. Fun times.
We need the Aggie schools to all play each other in the same season, like the Owl schools did this year with Kennesaw State, or I think that's who it was.
Yeah.
No, they are the Owls. It had to be somebody else. I don't know. Anyways, thought process is still there. That's how we need to determine
who are the other Aggies?
Utah State.
New Mexico State. Us, and who else?
U3, as far as I know.
Okay,
that's still three. That's still three FBS schools, and that's a pretty unique name, right? Like if we did Tigers, we would have
like
20 teams. Yeah, Bulldogs, we'd have a dozen teams. But Aggies is unique enough that it's not super common, but at the same time, it's like why are there 3? Like, there's, you know what I mean? There's one Razorback, there's one Gator. Those make sense. Why are there 3 Aggies? Explain that to me, universe.
Explain it to me.
My family is arriving, so can we roll through picks real quick?
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay.
Hello, Sydney's family.
No.
She said no.
All right. I'm going Clemson here. I think that Shane Beamer's momentum stops. I'm a Shane Beamer hater.
I'm going Gamecocks.
I don't like South Carolina for obvious reasons. So
Your
we're gonna
biggest
go-
rival.
Me and Sandstorm are not friends. Louisville and Kentucky. That's pretty obvious.
The Cats.
I'm going Kentucky.
Yeah.
Louisville's overrated.
Fair. So we already said we're going Vandy. Auburn or Alabama?
Screw it. Auburn wins the football game.
I called it last week. This isn't in Jordan.
Auburn's gonna win the football game.
Yeah, I'm going Auburn. I think similar situation with Ole Miss with Alabama.
I like Mitch's comment.
They're all agriculture schools, hence the Aggie.
No, I mean I get that, but like
Utah State is an agriculture school.
Yeah, like Utah State and New Mexico State, like are they?
Yes.
I mean, sure they are. So is University of Florida, and so is University of Arkansas, and like I mean, every major land grant university is an agricultural university. FAMU literally stands for Florida Agricultural Mechanic University, but they're not the Aggies. They're anyways, Aggies, 2 thumbs down. Get a better mascot.
Wow.
Use the dog. Use the dog. It's like Tennessee.
Fighting Reveilles.
Yes, use your dog.
Cutest dog around. Anyway, I'm going to go Auburn. And then Arkansas and Missouri.
I'm going Missouri.
I'm calling the Hogs, even though Sydney has.
All right. Hey, we might be playing in the snow, which would be pretty cool.
That'd be crazy.
See, Oklahoma and LSU.
I got Oklahoma.
LSU. Oh, Oklahoma might go in there pretty hot.
LSU's down.
It's a night game at Tiger Stadium. Of course it is.
Only lost one in the Brian Kelly era.
Must be nice getting a home game 7 times a year.
Yeah.
Florida and Florida State, which we're pretty sure we know how that one's going to end.
I don't know if you can hear that. That's me chomping. Go Gators.
It would throw me for Mitch. Bye, Mitch.
See you, Mitch.
Bye, Mitch.
All right, the last game on the list is the one that would mean the world to me to win. Because I can't.
Let's go, Aggies.
It. It's not even the fact that I like want to win the rivalry or this, that, and the other. I cannot handle them talking shit for a whole year. I can't do it. So that's how
I'm hoping for the best, but I'm picking Texas.
This is a down podcast at all times.
Sydney's picked against Florida for like 2.5 years straight, and then I pick against A&M and she boos me. Or not even pick against A&M, pick for Texas. That's the real issue. I know what the real issue is.
You can't pick for Texas. It's not allowed.
I'm sorry. I've seen my team play both of y'all. Texas is much better.
I mean, guess winning in the swamp isn't for everybody. It's okay.
It happens. We'll show you next season when we come to Kyle.
Is that what you did last time?
Yeah.
Okay.
2022.
I was thinking 2020. I forgot 2022.
Oh yeah, see, we've played each other too often.
I have blocked out most of the Jimbo era. Like it just doesn't exist.
I feel with the Morris era.
It doesn't exist.
I don't remember a second of that.
All right, my friends. I think we've made our picks, and people have to go to bed and get ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow. We are thankful for you for watching our show.
We are thankful for SEC sports.
SEC.
Thankful for the fact that there's no college football tomorrow, so I can enjoy the Cowboys, hopefully not making my holiday horrible.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck.
All right. Thanks and gig 'em.
I'm going to gig 'em this time too.
Oh, I love Sydney.
You can't see it, but I got horns up.
We'll
I
pay.
hate you.